You've definitely seen those gorgeous before and after home staging photos online. But what if I told you you could generate them automatically without spending thousands of dollars? Using N8N, a no-code automation tool, and a wild little AI model people have nicknamed Nano Banana, we'll rebuild something like this to something like this. But here's the twist. We're not using Photoshop or manual editing. We're using Google Gemini's Flash 2.5 to imagine the entire interior from scratch. And the best part, it costs just 2 cents per photo. This isn't just automation, it's AI-powered real estate hacks on a budget. We're gonna be using Telegram to communicate with our AI. I'm gonna show you how it works. I'm gonna drop it in here, send it. Now here's the result, let's check it out. Voila, I'm pretty mind blown, that looks really good. Go ahead and download N8N, and if you want the free trial, click that link down in the description. Once your account is created, go ahead and hit create workflow, and every workflow requires a trigger. And as I mentioned before, we're using Telegram. So go ahead and type in Telegram and hit on message. This basically means whenever there's a message received from Telegram, it will activate this workflow. Once you have the node open, you're gonna go ahead and create an account by selecting this right here. Then you're gonna need an access token. If you don't have Telegram, make sure you download it, and don't worry, it's free. Once you have it pulled up, go ahead and type bot father in a search bar. Then open that chat. Then you can hit create new bot. Go ahead and title it, then hit create bot. Whatever it is, it has to end in bot. Once that's created, they're gonna give you the access key, so go ahead and copy that. Then you're gonna go back to N8N and paste that here. Hit save and you should be good to go. Let's go ahead and test it out. So I'm gonna hit execute workflow. I'm gonna pull up my Telegram, drop this file in. All right, so it looks like it's received. Now we need to extract that file. So let's go ahead and exit out of this and then hit the plus sign. Again, we're gonna use another native Telegram trigger and we're gonna hit get a file. Make sure you connect it to the same Telegram bot and you're gonna hover to your left and look for photo file ID and then go ahead and drag that over. So if you missed it, it's photo and then file ID. All right, let's execute this step. We should be able to view the file now. All right, you see that little photo there? That's it. So right now we have binary data, which Nano Banana can't take. So we need a temporary holding spot that will convert it to a URL. And we're gonna be using this website called temp files. And I'm gonna link everything down in the description below. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna copy this curl. Then you're gonna go back to N8N, exit out of this, hit the plus sign. We're gonna hit HTTP request, which is basically how N8N will communicate to other websites or apps. So hit import curl and go ahead and paste that, hit import. Everything should be all filled out exactly what we need, except for this. Just input whatever the name is here, which is data. So let's go ahead and execute this step. We should have an image URL. Let's go ahead and check it out. All right, so here it is. But this isn't what we want. We want this right here, the actual URL. It's a little small and pixelated, but this is a good example of how much AI can do, because once you see the final result, you're gonna be amazed. So if you notice that the difference between this URL versus this URL is 2 letters, which is DL. So that's what we're gonna do with the next node. We're gonna have to add that into the URL. And to do that, we're gonna hit the plus sign, type in edit fields, which is this one here. Hit this, type in image underscore URL. I'm going to enlarge this so you guys can see it. You guys can go ahead and screenshot that. I will also include it in the description below. Next, we're just going to make it valid for the next hour. So type in valid until, go ahead and paste that. Go ahead and copy that. I'll link it down in the description below as well and hit execute. There you have it. Everything is ready to go. Now we need to activate a sub workflow. If you don't know what that means, I'll show you. Exit out of this. We'll hit the plus sign, sub, execute, sub workflow. Hit that. All right, so now make sure you hit save. We're gonna create a new workflow. Again, execute sub workflow, but this time we're gonna go when executed by another workflow. We're gonna leave it as defined using fields below. For the name, for the first one, we're gonna go with prompt. We'll leave this type as a string. The second one, we're gonna go with image underscore URL, and then this will be an array. Go ahead and title this whatever you want. I'm gonna go with demo 1 for now. Now we're gonna generate that image with Nano Banana. So hit the plus sign, type in HTTP request. And here's when we're gonna need our next tool. I will link it down in the description as well, and it's key.ai. Make sure you save it. Then we're gonna go back to our first workflow. We're gonna go back to this node, and we should be able to find that sub workflow. It should be named demo 1. Go ahead and select that. So now this should auto-populate, and now we wanna paste in our prompt. Go ahead and paste in my prompt. And it basically says, put furniture inside the apartment in boho style. Do not change the original photo, only add furnishing. And then the format that I wanted in. Okay, let's go ahead and just execute everything. So we have some data that we can pass through, because now we want to change this to an expression. We want to drag this over, but because we want it as an array, we want to go ahead and add some brackets. We'll also have to add some quotations. Let me redo this. So we're going to have to add some brackets, dragging your URL right in between there you have it. That should work. The next part may seem a little confusing, but we want test data because we're still testing out our sub workflow. Just follow along if you're a little confused. So let's go ahead and expand this again. I'm gonna copy, and then I'm gonna go back to my other workflow. And it's easier to have them both open in 2 separate tabs, so you can go back and forth. We're gonna open this up, and you're gonna hit this icon right here on the top right. Here, you're gonna see some JSON. And if you don't know how to code, don't worry, me neither. Just follow along. We're gonna change this to prompt. We're gonna delete first item. We're gonna go back to the first workflow. We're gonna copy our prompt, paste it in. And we're gonna delete all of this. We're gonna delete this, title this image underscore URL, delete this comma, go back. We're gonna copy this, paste that in, and I believe this should be on the next line. All right, let's see if this works. Okay, it seems to have worked. All right, we can move on. So next, we're gonna feed it into Nano Banana to create our image. We're gonna do it with HTTP request. So in the previous step, all we're doing is we're having this sample data, which has a prompt and our image URL. And now we're gonna feed that into Nano Banana. So go ahead and type in key.ai. And if you don't know what this is basically a marketplace for all the LLM's APIs. You have Sora 2, VO3, Runway. You've got Nano Banana, Seedream. So go ahead and create an account, go to your dashboard at about $5. Remember, each photo is only 2 cents. Now we're gonna go back, exit out of this, go to the main page and hit Nano Banana API, then hit API here. You should be on create task, and we're gonna hover all the way down to the curl. Copy this curl, and you can look through the documentation if you want to, but I'll show you what we need in just a minute. So we can go back into init-n, and we're gonna go to import curl and paste that curl in there. And everything should be pre-filled in. So we'll need to add in our API key, and we'll need to fix this JSON body. So to get the API key, you're gonna go back to Nano Banana again. I know it's a lot back and forth. You're gonna go to your dashboard, go to API key, hit create API key, follow the instructions, copy that key. I already have one right here. Delete this, and go ahead and paste in your key. Now we have the JSON body that we need to fix. So let's open this up. But first, we're gonna make sure you select it as an expression, enlarge it, and we're gonna make some changes. So let's go ahead and delete this callback option. We don't need it. So for the prompt, go ahead and delete the pre-filled in prompt, and we're gonna drag in the variable that we have from the left. We're then going to delete all of this from the image URLs. Then we're gonna add this image URL, just drag that over. We're gonna make a few changes. We're gonna add a question mark, then .to JSON string, parentheses. We're basically converting this JavaScript object into a valid JSON string so it can be fed into Nano Banana. We're gonna change this format to JPEG because the files are a little bit smaller, so we can make this workflow a lot faster. I like my image size to be 16 by 9. Add this comma. So I'm gonna go ahead and execute this step. And I think I forgot a comma here. So let's go ahead and add that. Try it again. All right, now we have that. So the next step, what I did was import a curl. So we're back in Nano Banana, API, go to query, task, and copy this curl here. So Nano Banana, hit API, then hit query task, and copy this curl. Paste that here. So we're gonna delete this, and then under data and task ID, go ahead and drag that over here, and you scroll down, you're gonna go ahead and paste that same API key from earlier right in there. We can even grab it from the previous node. All right, once you've pasted your key, let's go ahead and try to execute this step. So when you're on this step, you're gonna see that there are 3 different states right here. Where it says state, you can either say waiting, success, or failed. So we wanna create 3 different paths for those 3 different results. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add what we call a switch node. Let me create this from scratch so you guys can see. So for the switch, type in switch. So we're gonna create 3 different values. So for the first value, you're gonna drag over state, and we're gonna type in fail. And you can just name this output failed. So whenever the state is failed, it's gonna go down a certain path. I'll show you in a second what that looks like. We're gonna do the same for here. We're gonna drag over state right under data, and if it's equal to success, we're gonna rename this ready. For the next one, for the value 1, we're going to type in generating, comma, waiting. Then we're going to drag in this. Let's rename this to processing. So if you exit out here, you'll see 3 branches, one labeled failed, the other labeled ready, and one labeled processing. Our current example, it says waiting. So whenever you see waiting, we want it to loop back around because basically the LLM is just taking some time to create the image. We want to give it that time before we move on to the next node. So that's where we're going to add a wait node. Basically, it's just gonna wait about 5 seconds at this node and do nothing else, then loop it back behind this HTTP request, and it'll continue to loop until it's ready or fail. So if it's ready, it will go on to the next node, which is this edit fields node. So type in edit fields. Once you're here, go ahead and type result underscore URL, and make sure you toggle attempt to convert types on like that. One thing I forgot to mention, you want to make sure this is, instead of is equal to, we're going to change this to under string contains. Exit out of that, hit save. Now let's execute everything we have. So once we hit save, we're going to execute this step and see if it works. So if you're a little lost, we're in the main workflow. So this is the first workflow we started to work on. So what we're doing here in this step is that we're calling the sub workflow. We're activating this other workflow that we titled demo 1, which is going to be communicating with key.ai using Nano Banana to create our image. Once it's resulted, we should have that item passed here. I did this earlier, but what I did was I added a Telegram node. So type in Telegram, and we're going to be sending a text message back to that same chat that we had with it earlier, where we sent the initial image. So hit send a text message connected to the same account. For the chat ID, look to your left. Under the Telegram trigger, you're going to scroll down until you see chat. Then you're going to find ID. So you're going to drag that over right under chat ID. And for the text, we're going to use the result that we got from the previous node, which is this one here. I'm sorry. Under execute workflow, you're going to have result._.url, which we created earlier. Drag that over. Let's test this up, see if it works. All right, let's see if we got that message. This is the final product, and it is pretty damn good. So this is the boho style theme. If you wanted to make multiple styles, like a modern style, you can just copy this node here, which is our execute workflow node. Just hit copy and then paste it, and you can connect the lines by hitting the dot and just dragging it over, and then holding this and dragging it over to the Telegram trigger as well. And the things that you would change would be the prompt here, and you just, instead of boho, do modern, do Scandinavian, luxury, minimal, whatever you want. That's how you would do that here. So this is the final result, and let me show you the original image. This is the original image. On top of all the furniture that we see, it's gotten rid of this. It's even kept the little lighting from the window and had it casted over the couch, which is really amazing. Staging your home can boost its value and help it sell faster, and now you can do it just for pennies using AI. That's it for this workflow. It was a little rough, but check out this video if you want to take your AI automation to the next level. And also check out my channel if you want to scale your business or your personal life with any AI automation related task.